Welcome, Owen.
Thank you.
Welcome, guys, to our first podcast here at the Fight Apparel store.
Thank you.
Maybe you introduce yourself.
Yeah, Owen Livesey. I've come over to obviously do the seminars this weekend. Obviously we know each other from Judo already. I've gone in since retiring from Judo. I've gone and done a little bit of Jiu-Jitsu and dabbled a bit with that, and that's gone pretty well. And yeah, we've just gone on from there.
Nice. So to kick off the podcast, I would like to give you some quick questions. It's like 2 answers. You choose one, like I say England or Switzerland. You're gonna choose Switzerland for sure.
Yeah.
So let's start with this. And the first question, of course, Judo or BJJ?
Judo.
Nice. Grappling or MMA?
Oh. Grappling.
Grappling. Football or rugby?
Rugby.
That was fast. So, still football. Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi.
Messi. England or Brazil?
Brazil.
Nice.
My son's half Brazilian as well, so.
Yeah, I knew that. So, Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua?
Tyson Fury.
Tyson Fury. Beef steak or salmon fillet?
Beef steak.
Beef steak. Proteins or carbs?
Protein.
Joe Rogan or Lex Friedman?
Joe Rogan.
Last one. Progress or Fight Apparel?
I have to say progress. pay for me dinner.
Okay, so now let's go into a little bit the open questions.
Yeah.
You have like 75,000 followers on Instagram. Probably 65,000 know you as the throwing machine in the grappling scene.
Yeah.
So I know there is judo, rugby. Maybe you can give a little bit more insights about you growing up, getting into sports.
So my first sport started with rugby, because the town I'm from, St Helens, is just purely a rugby town. Like everybody starts playing rugby, and then some stick with rugby and some go into other sports. So from around 5 years old to about 8, I started rugby when I was 5. When I got to 8, I started judo as well.
Okay.
Did them both till I was about 14, 15. And at the time, the town from St Helens, I was playing for the rugby scholarship team.
Yeah.
So basically when I was 15, in rugby it starts to get a little bit more serious. So they said to me I had to either quit judo to carry on with rugby or leave that team and I could continue to play rugby and they'd keep watching, and if my performance was good they could bring me back in the future. And at the time in judo I just got my first British title as a cadet, so I was starting to really get into judo and start to get small bits of success. So I just felt it was too early for me to quit judo.
Yeah.
So I left that team, continued to play rugby for about another 2 years as well. And then I decided judo was what I wanted to do, and I left home to start training full time.
Where did you go for full-time training?
I went in Dartford at the time, so the first British centre was in Dartford. So I lived there for about 18 months. I then left Dartford, came back home for about a year, and then moved to Camberley, where I had most of my best moments at Camberley.
So now you say your city is a rugby town. How did you find the way into martial arts, into judo, if rugby was all over the place?
It's what my missus has been doing now, is teaching judo in schools. So I was just at school and we got told that we were doing a judo class, and I literally had no idea what judo was at the time. And somebody come in, my first coach, it ended up being Peter Blood. He came in and did a judo class with us, and we're kids, like, as you know, it's like just a lot of fun. Like, we probably learnt like 2 simple throws, played loads of games. I just really enjoyed it, and what they were doing was a 6-week course, and when we got to the end of the 6-week course they give us the option to go and join the judo club if we wanted to train more. And at the time I was playing rugby, and my dad always loved rugby, he still does now. And the coach said to me dad that judo will help with the rugby technique of tackling and the wrestling rugby, which it does now. 'Cause I actually teach some rugby teams now when they're playing in the Super League back home. Little concepts of wrestling that can cross over, and concepts that I've got from judo that can cross over to rugby. So as soon as my dad heard that, he took me along to judo, and I just ended up doing the judo instead.
Okay, so it wasn't really planned, actually.
No, it wasn't planned at all. No, I was like, as a kid, I just wanted to be a rugby player.
Yeah.
Like me and my dad would go and watch Saints all the time. Yeah, I ended up getting a little bit of success in judo, enjoying it, and then when I moved away from home, I was just with all my friends, and all my friends were from judo, so I just ended up going down that path.
Nice. So maybe you can walk us through a day when you was full-time athlete, like in senior time, and also maybe walk us through a day, like a normal weekday now.
So when I was a full-time athlete, my day, as busy as it was with training, was a lot less busy than it is now. I just had like less things going on or outside training. It was just training. So a normal day for me would be strength conditioning at 10 a.m, which is nice already because it was a nice lie-in before it, so I don't sleep till that time anymore. So it's 10 a.m. strength conditioning, and then we do technical at 12, and then we'd do randori in the evening. We did that Monday to Friday.
3 sessions a day, actually. Yeah.
And then we'd have Saturday and Sunday off unless we were in a competition. But that was literally my week. Like, we didn't really have much money though because we didn't work much because it was just all about training. So sometimes I'd teach a judo class twice a week, and that would be like after the lunchtime technical session.
Yeah. I'd
teach in a school 3 till 4 p.m, 2 times a week. And that just gave us enough money to live off. Whereas now, super busy now. It's like I have my own gym. I'm still trying to train relatively hard myself, so I can do a few competitions. So like now, I teach every morning at 7 a.m. grappling. I teach every morning at 8 a.m. straight after, and that's MMA. But like the grappling aspect of MMA. So MMA wrestling.
So you have like 2 classes in the morning that you teach?
Yeah. I teach 7 till 8, 8 till 9. And then I go straight to the gym myself, doing my strength conditioning. Normally get home, jump in the sauna, normally get home about 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. I'll eat lunch, have about 3 hours with my son, and then I go back to the gym. I'm in the gym like 6 p.m. till 9 p.m. That's Monday to Friday. Teach Saturday morning at 10, and I have Sundays off. So it's a lot.
If
a lot
there's no
busier
competition.
now. Exactly. Yeah. Sometimes I'm away for competition.
Yeah. So to set this one straight now, once for all, how many strength and conditioning trainings you do? I see you get asked like 10 times
all
a day.
The time, yeah. So like now I'm doing quite a lot because I'm not competing. I do enjoy strength conditioning now. Like I never used to. Now I actually do. So like if I'm not competing, I'll do 4 a week. As soon as competitions start, I just do 2.
Yeah.
2 a week.
And focus on sparring.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah.
That's good. Nice. So earlier in the interview, you mentioned judo over BJJ. BJJ, I mean, in the gi.
Yeah.
So why?
It's just personal. Like it's personal to me. Like I've done a lot more with judo. I've been through a lot more with judo, and the game that I play now in jiu-jitsu is more or less just judo.
Yeah.
It's not that I've gone down the path of now I do jiu-jitsu, I'm going to do like traditional style Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I've not done that at all. I've kind of stuck with what I've done all my life and just adapted to the rule set. Yeah, I just think the amount of things I've done in judo, training camps, big competitions, like experiences that I've had in judo, I haven't had anywhere near that yet in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I've had a few good shows. Like I've obviously signed for Pilates. Pilates is a really, really good show, really, really good experience, and ADCC was as well. But you're talking like 3 or 4 events though, whereas like judo's been like the last 15 years of my life just been judo every day since I was 15. So yeah, I've just got a lot more out of judo physically and a lot more in terms of memories and good times as well.
Yeah, I can imagine. So it's normal you adapt what you know to the new sport.
Yeah, like
this.
I think a lot of people like kind of expect when you do jiu-jitsu that you gotta play a certain game, like you got to do jiu-jitsu a certain way, and I'd like to think that I've kind of shown that you don't have to do what everyone else does.
Right.
And like you can carry across your strengths from judo and just play that game towards the jiu-jitsu rules, and I think there is actually something in that, and a way of doing that.
Yeah, I mean, success gives you right to do that.
Yeah.
From your experience, what's probably the hardest part as a fighter?
Of jiu-jitsu?
Of judo, jiu-jitsu?
Just in terms of like training, I'd just say like being consistent. Obviously I run a gym now as well. Like where I came from when I was training full time, I never really seen issues with consistency.
Yeah.
Because everyone that I lived with had relocated to train full time, so being consistent wasn't ever an issue. Like everyone was gonna be at training every single day, even if they were injured. They'd still be doing something. Whereas when I've kind of like stepped out of that full time environment, I've noticed that a lot of people are just not consistent. And it isn't a secret that the people that turn up more get better. It sounds a bit silly saying it because it's so simple, but it's true that a lot of people outside of a full-time environment are just not consistent. Like, they're consistent for like 2 weeks. You see them actually starting to improve, and they get a small niggle and you don't see them for 3 weeks, and they're tired one day so they don't come in. Like, I just know for a fact that's not the way someone that is good lives. Like, when I was full time, I was always tired, but it was not an option whatsoever to ring Luke, my coach, and say I'm not in today, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Like, it just wasn't even a thing. But yeah, I just think consistency, and I think whoever you look at in whichever sport it is, if they're really good, if you actually looked at their lifestyle, it wouldn't be a question whether they're training or not. It'd just be part of their day. So I think as simple as it is, I'd just say consistency and sticking to the schedule that you set yourself.
So guys, show up to training, no excuse.
This is it.
If you're tired, no excuse. If you're injured, come, do what you can.
I think there's always something you can do. Like, if it's not a serious injury, then I think you can strap it up and train like people do in judo all the time. If it's a serious injury, then if it's to your leg, you can do something on your upper body, and you can watch training and still learn. Like, I still think there's a lot of things you can get out of it when you're actually injured.
Outside of, let's say, judo, grappling, BJJ, what goals you have in life?
Just my gym and my family. So like, my gym is my main income now. So I have a big focus on building my gym. Building the team that we have in the gym as well. Like, we have a good grappling team now, and we have a very good MMA team as well. Like, they've not been training that long, but we've already had like 9 people fight MMA out of the gym. Had some really good performances. We've actually got a very small group that are genuinely training full time properly as well, and really sticking to the schedule. And I think like it's exciting to see how good they're gonna be. In the gym, the coaches we have now are really good. Like, it's not just me as a coach anymore. It's like I teach the grappling, wrestling, judo style work. Then we have Luke Campbell, who's an Olympic champion in boxing. He teaches the boxing. We have a good friend of mine called Danny Mitchell, who teaches the MMA, and he was in the UFC. It's like we've actually got really good coaches for these lads, and these lads have never had anything like that before in this area. So I think like it's a good feeling to like provide something for them, where I can like realistically say, if you follow this schedule,
you're gonna have success.
You can do well. Yeah, because like you have got good coaches. Like it is a very legitimate team now. On top of the gym, then just my family and providing for them the best I can from the gym. Just looking after them, and for me now it's just about building my gym, competing between, and just look after my family.
Nice. I read that you have like a trials coming up. Maybe you want to give a few words about that.
Yeah, we're doing like a scholarship at my gym. So there'll be one place for MMA and one place for grappling. I've been really lucky because like basically everyone that's sponsored me like jumped in, and they're giving something to these scholars as well. So whoever wins basically will get 1 year of full-time training at the gym. They'll get training gear, they'll get nutrition, supplements, they'll get nutritional guidance. There's more things than that. So they get quite a lot of stuff. They get really well looked after.
They get all the training programs.
Exactly.
You're gonna follow them for 1 year straight
as well. Yeah, they basically we've more or less made a package. We've made a package that gives an athlete everything they need. Like, obviously because we've been full-time athletes ourselves, you kind of know what you need as an athlete. So I've kind of made sure that the person that wins literally has everything that they need for that year.
All the environment is...
Yeah, so hopefully if they do that properly, they get to the end of the year, they've made some massive improvements.
Yeah.
Then we can just kick on from there. But I'm just trying to give someone the best start possible. The trials will be 2 days, so day one will be grappling, which I'm going to make it a really intense day, and MMA will be day 2. Danny Mitchell will be helping me with the MMA as well. It's not even really as well, the trials, I'm not really looking for who's best as in like skill.
Yeah.
I'm not that bothered if someone's not as good as someone else skill wise. I kind of want to find that someone with good character who I know he's going to take the training seriously.
Well, it's a mindset.
Yeah. Like I'm not that bothered. If someone's better than someone else, I'm not that bothered, but I've seen that loads anyway. I've seen people who are really, really good, really talented, but they're a bit lazy.
Put the work in.
Yeah, so I'd rather someone who's not as good, but I know they're going to be there every day. So I think over the space of a year, you can do a lot with that person.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. I think it's a really good idea. You give this chance to 2 guys.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see from here in 1 year how it developed, how the guys.
Yeah, it should be good. I'm looking forward to it. I wish there was something like that when we were younger.
Yeah.
Like all your coaches in one place, everything you need. Like no one really gets anything like that, so it'd be good to see if it works out.
No, it's really amazing project. So to wrap this up, I would like to ask you, you're some kind of a role model now for a lot of people, especially if you check now Instagram, thousands of people following you.
Yeah.
So what message would you give to the young guys, despite being there in training, follow training? So maybe another message you have for them?
I'd probably say stay level-headed. Like, doesn't matter how much success you get in a short space. Like, keep doing what got you that success and stay the same. I think like nowadays in like combat sports especially MMA, and I understand why they do it, but a lot of people's like really like play a lot for cameras, and I'm just not into that at all. Like, and again, I know why they do it, but I like to see someone that's like, they've worked hard for what they've got, but they're still a normal person as well. I just say to young people coming through, like my main one, like we said before, would be actually just do the work you need to do. And the second one would just be a good person, and don't matter how successful they are, then just remember how they got there and who helped them get there, and just be a good person. Yeah.
Last question: when do we see you back in action? Probably at Polaris.
Yeah, I think in March, Polaris.
Yeah.
They're not confirmed fully, but I think there's a March 11th maybe. There's a Polaris show. I might have a good match on that, like a big match on that. So
Have some names in your
they've
head already?
Named
or?
a few, but like they've not said if they've even spoke to them.
Yeah.
Just like a few ideas. They're looking at like MMA fighters. I think like some people at the UFC if they can. Just to create an entertaining match, I think. So
To bring in a really good name.
yeah. So it should be. I think it's March the 11th. So that should be really good.
Okay, guys. So stay tuned. Look out for the next fight of Owen. Owen, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, mate.
All the best with the gym, with the family,
Cheers,
and of
man.
course competitions.
Thank you.
Thank you.